This is an elevation looking from King William Drive. So it shows the festival on one end, festival running through to the cathedral, and so you can start to see the scale of the project proposal and how the main eastern elevation here really is very much in keeping with the existing or the proposed western stand. You can see it's coming out here. We're sort of stuck between existing and proposed, so you can get a real sense of the scale of the project in through there. And as we start to look at the view from the river itself, and you can see coming across the bridge, you're really coming into a significant cultural piece of Adelaide. It really is quite important. A section through the eastern stand, and you can see that we have the lower level entry from the parkland, and you can see we've clipped it back at an angle to try and retain, bring the park as far into the building as we can, allow people to move up into the circulation concourse at level 1 that sees over the ground, and then through the stand via a series of successive levels that sees out, enjoys the park and the cathedral on one hand and the activity on the ground on the other. And in terms of scale, you can start to see how this proposed eastern stand would relate to a western stand. So they're really handing each other on the main flanks of the ground and providing the majority of the seats in the preferred location. This is a view from the south looking towards the north, and you can see that we've clipped back and held the new eastern stand relative to a western stand arrangement in through here. The idea of the north mound, the trees, heritage scoreboard, and a new updated video board arrangements in through here. And so some views, and I think as I'll just walk through various snapshots that we've taken that explain the facility both internally and externally. This is a view sort of a helicopter above the festival site. You can see the bridge connecting through over the river into the new plaza. The new plaza also steps down into the parklands to the east and onto War Memorial Drive. You can see how we've got the capacity to engage there with tennis, multiple sports, multiple events, multiple use of these spaces. A smart city uses its spaces as much as it can. And the idea of then being able to come into the main piece of the south stand and into the ground proper. This is a view taken slightly obliquely through here. And a close-up view showing how the capacity for screens and for branding and banners to really start to notify what the particular event is. And so if it's a cricket game, if it's a football game, who are the protagonists, and how can we best tune this ground to provide maximum home ground advantage for the home team? Other teams should fear coming here. And this is a view from the city dining room, as I was describing earlier, one that is in the south stand, overlooks the plaza, as you can see through the glass there, and then across the bridge, across the river and the gardens into the city itself. So you're very connected to the city. It would have to be one of the best dining spaces in the city. A view from the east up the Victor Richardson Drive. As you move through the Victor Richardson Drive, we have the key entrance from the east aligned with the centre of the pavilion of the western stand. So the idea of the pavilionised ground, which you can start to see being expressed in the architecture, is held intact, and the idea of honouring the senior cricket pavilion on the western side really is germane to the whole structuring of the composition. This is a view from inside the eastern stand as we start to move up through from the park into a series of multiple levels that take you through to either upper levels, function rooms, corporate spaces, concourses, or out into the ground and into your seat. Another view from the inside, looking back towards the western stand and closer to the western stand again. And this is a view from the western stand itself looking back out towards the east, and so you can start to see the northern hill. Again, this is a ground in full flight with 50,000 people in it. Or alternatively, a view back up towards the western stand from effectively above the heritage scoreboard at the moment. And a view back from above the cathedral looking back down into the ground and across the parklands.